It's crazy how much your life changes when you stop surrounding yourself with people who aren't going anywhere. Since I'd left school, I made mistakes of keeping people around me just because they were friends and just because they were people I grew up with, and obviously spent my whole, I think it was like 12 years through school. So it was just familiar. But I knew something wasn't right, and I knew I was changing, but they wasn't. Every time I'd bring up like my goals or my plans for the future, they'd kind of just laugh it off, you know what I mean? They'd laugh it off. They'd be like, come on mate, live a little, something like that. And it was around the Andrew Tate era, and in our group chat I'd say quotes that he'd say, and they'd just mock me for it. They'd literally just mock me, and they'd start arguments. They'd start like a debate of some kind about how I'm wrong and about how he's a misogynistic and all of these things. And it just got to the point where I left that chat, and I quite literally haven't spoken to them since. It's been like 2.5 years now, and it's just because I knew that I was different, and that being around those people is just going to hold me back, because a man on a mission has no business being around men who aren't on one. When you surround yourself with men who are like lazy, bitter, and just not focused, you start to think that's normal, and you start lowering your standards just to kind of fit in with what they do. You don't aim as high as you should because no one else is. And that's the only reason why I've been to a club. I've been clubbing twice in my life, and it was purely because of the people I was around. They was not forcing me to go, obviously, but they was going out every single weekend, and they'd constantly question me. Like, oh, come on, just give it a try. And eventually I did, and I didn't like it. And that's also what kind of made me realise that I'm very different to the people I hang around with, because I don't like doing what they like doing, and I don't like how they go around kind of peer pressuring other people into living the life that they have. I realised that I had two choices, and it's either you stay loyal to your past or you stay loyal to your future. So of course I made the decision of staying loyal to my future. I completely cut them off, and it wasn't easy, because after that I quite literally had one person I could speak to, and yeah, it was pretty lonely at first, but of course I knew that I had a mission to complete. If you're not ambitious, if you don't carry yourself like a man, if you don't push yourself to be better, then I can't stand side by side with you anymore. Not out of like hate or like arrogance, quite literally just out of respect for myself and for the mission that I'm on. I only surround myself with masculine men because iron sharpens iron, and I want to be around people who challenge me and call me out for my mistakes and when I slip up. And it's just like having that environment when you feel like you can't fall behind, because everybody's constantly pushing to be better. So it's one of them environments where if you fall behind, you'll feel like the last in the group, or the weakest in the group. And because of the people you're around and the environment that you're in, there's no other option but to improve. And you want to have conversations with your guys about business and your values and freedom, not just gossip about celebrities, or if you got into an argument on this day, or what happened at the club last weekend. Because once again, it's just something that will not get you towards your goals. If you're around men who actually do what they say they're going to do, instead of just talking about it, that will always benefit the group. You'll see them as a leader, as an example, and someone who actually takes action and doesn't moan when things go their way. Because the reality of the situation is your environment will always be stronger than your willpower. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounded by weak men, distractionless men, then the ambition will slowly kind of leak out of you until you become just like they are. And personally, I refuse to let that happen. And people always ask me, like, why is my circle so small? Like, my family will always ask, why is my circle so small? And it's because I'm very picky about who I spend my time with, because I know exactly where I'm going and I know exactly the type of man that I need to be around me. It's not about me being better than them or me wanting to kind of compete with them. It's about building a life that demands better from myself and from everybody around me.